we can start the official business meeting then. With that being established, the next agenda item is the approval of the agenda. The agenda has been presented to all the commissioners. Is there a recommendation or a motion to approve the agenda?
I, Ethelene Boyd, ask that the minutes of the February 13th meeting be,
The agenda.
I'm sorry, that the agenda be approved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
The
Reyes.
Commissioner Boyd has moved that the agenda for the 12 March session be approved, and Commissioner Reyes has seconded. Are there any questions or concerns? All in favor would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. There are none that oppose it, so the agenda has been motioned and approved. The next order of business would be the approval of the minutes. The minutes were distributed by Ms. Stephanie Musser previous to the meeting. I hope everyone has a chance to review those. If not, do we need to share them?
Well, one item on the minutes, it indicated that, the commissioners were present, but that Ethelene Boyd joined at 12:25. I wanted to show that it was due to technical difficulties that I had been trying to get on for half an hour.
Yeah, we can change that if you'd like.
Thank
Would you
you.
like that change then, Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Okay.
That's not a problem. You were considered present, Commissioner Boyd. I think you were present for the session. So, do we want to change that, Secretary Transu? Can we make a correction on that?
Yes, I can make a correction on that.
Okay. Are there any other concerns or corrections to the minutes? With that being said, is there a motion to approve the February 2024 meeting minutes with the recommended correction?
I move that the minutes of the February 13th meeting be accepted as corrected.
I'll second it.
Okay. The Commissioner Boyd has motioned that the minutes of the February 2024 meeting be approved with the recommended correction, and Commissioner Reyes has seconded. If there are no other concerns regarding the minutes, all in favor would signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed would signify by saying nay. There are none that oppose the motion to approve the minutes, so the minutes will be approved with the recommended correction. We would now move to the director's report.
Commissioner Upchurch Taylor has joined us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So we didn't have any right to sue letters issued in February, and no mediations or conciliations settled in February. We did have two that closed in February, though, so I'll notate that on the March report. I think it's just the way that they were shown on the report. So I'll update that for the March report, because we did have two that technically closed in February, but they weren't from the mediation that was held that month. So we finished working on our sessions for the racial trauma series that we had throughout February and March. We had pretty good turnout at all of the events. And the feedback that we got from the attendees was that they would like to see it continue. So the planning group and I are going to try to work with members of the community to see if we can establish some next steps and kind of implement something more permanent that can kind of continue growing and occurring, since it's something that seems like it would be helpful for the community. And it kind of, looks like we lost someone. Sounded like it. So it seems like it's a good space for people to come and share things, and then also assisting people with understanding, what things are considered trauma and what things might be actionable discrimination that contributes to trauma, and also helps with kind of determining damages when you go through a case like what we have here with the commission too. So I think it's a good event. We had a good discussion and good feedback. So we will be trying to work on continuing that going forward.
Director Lacy, I got a quick question for you before you leave that subject. How do we advertise that? Because I talked to some people, and obviously not everybody is privy to all the media that we use, and they were not aware of it. They said they probably may have attended or would be interested in it. As you can tell, there's a lot of interest in the community. But how do we advertise and market?
So we were working with Transitions Mental Health, St. Ambrose, and the Davenport branch of the NAACP. And so for our advertisements, we had it on our doors, and then we did ad campaigns on Facebook starting, I think, in late November. And then we sent it out to the email list for the people who signed up for it. And then all of the other partner organizations sent it out to their listservs as well. Okay.
Now, I was just wondering, do we have any kind of tie-ins with the public media, like radio stations, or the TV station that does free advertising?
We don't. And this one in particular, we didn't send it out to the media because we didn't want to invite the media to attend.
Okay.
Sometimes if people share a traumatic story, I don't think anybody wants a traumatic story that they share to end up on the news the next day. And so we wanted to make sure that it was an event where we created kind of a safe space for people to talk and share things without fear that it was going to be kind of repeated again outside of the room.
Okay, just curiosity, just question. All right, thank you.
No problem. So in February, we attended the budget meetings. It was learned, I think we kind of discussed it a little bit last month, that council didn't actually receive the commission's request for a budget increase. So it was never really considered. When we followed up with city staff, they said that they kind of misunderstood what Commissioner Guster had said to them via email, and that they would forward the request on to council. And so I attended that last meeting, and what was conveyed to the council was that the commission had really only requested one staff person, and that was the attorney position. So it seems like council is only considering the attorney position going forward, and I guess we will learn when they vote for the final, vote to approve a budget, what we'll actually receive for a budget increase or if we'll receive a budget increase.
Question, Director Lacy. So the information was conveyed to the council. It was incorrect. It was not accurate.
Apparently, they never received the budget request. So we were told that we would need to submit a formal business case for a request for a budget increase. And we drafted and submitted that. And then we were told that it was not going to be incorporated into the city administrator's work plan or proposed budget, but that if we wanted council to consider it, we could request that. And so Commissioner Guster did request that, and then it was still not given to council.
So council never got the request, and they never got the correct information, even though it was submitted.
They got it after the fact, yeah.
So where do we stand now? I know there was supposed to have been some discussions at the council meeting. Where do we stand with that?
So the only thing that they're considering from what I have seen is the attorney position.
So do we have any recourse? Is there anything that we can do?
I guess the commissioners could reach out to the council members to make the request. But from what was presented to them, it was that the commission only requested the attorney position. And the commission also requested that finance staff come here and do a budget presentation. So they weren't available for March, and they asked about the time and format of the April meeting, but I have not received confirmation that they are going to be presenting at the April meeting either.
Just for clarification, the original request was submitted somewhere but not received?
So we were instructed to submit the request to finance staff. So it went to finance staff.
Right.
And then they just did not turn it into council.
Got it.
Were there any other questions on that, Commissioner Howard?
No, I'm just kind of mulling over that because it kind of feels like the commission has been really ignored or disregarded in their request for the additional staff in order to execute the mission that we have, and it's kind of being ignored or just glossed over and without any serious attention to it. And I'm just kind of thinking is what recourse we have as a group to challenge that and to possibly get some action. I mean, you know, we can let it happen, or we can challenge it. I mean, I'm just going through that thought process. So, with that being said, I'll leave it, and Commissioner Guster gets back, and maybe perhaps we can explore that a little bit further. Thank you.
Yeah. So we are working with DOJ, CRS, some of the commissioners, staff, members of the community, to host the Protecting Places of Worship training for the Quad Cities region. So we've had a couple of meetings on that. We have selected May 2nd, 2024 is the date of the event, and the time is 5 to 8 p.m. And it will be hosted at the River Center. So right now we are kind of selecting members to be a part of an interfaith panel to talk about kind of things going on here locally within the Quad Cities. And I think we have selected a few people, but if you all have suggestions of people who might be good to participate on the panel, if you could email those to me, that would be great. And then I can present those to the rest of the planning committee at our next meeting. And then we're also doing the upcoming training for the League of Iowans Civil and Human Rights Agencies. where we're going to kind of go over lots of different topics and talk to different federal partners and have them present to us on how to report things to them, which things should be reported to them, you know, kind of the coverages under their laws and things that they enforce. So me and two of the other directors that are on the planning committee, we're kind of working on drafting questions that can be presented to the speakers regarding things that are occurring here locally. So that's another one. If you all have any suggestions of topics that you would like covered at this training, if you could email those to me, that would be really helpful. Or even just situations that you know of that have come up in the community that you think would, it would be good to get additional information for, that would be helpful as well. So for example, if you have, like if you know about hate crimes that are occurring, but you don't see any sort of enforcement mechanisms in place, or you know it's not being advertised or something, and you want to know how people can go about reporting a hate crime and where it's documented, how to track, you know, what happens with it as a result of the report. That could be a question that you send to me, and then we could forward it on to DOJ so that they can forward that on to the speaker so that they can incorporate that into the presentation that they give. We're continuing to do the research for the environmental justice and redlining report. We still have not received the FOIA documents from the city. So I guess we're waiting on there to be a resolution of the complaint that was filed with the Public Information Board. But we've been getting data from other places as well.
Director Lacy, has there been any update on the status of that, getting that information from the city?
As far as the complaint that was filed?
Yeah.
The city attorney submitted a response, which really just kind of reiterated that they didn't think that the commission had a right to request the data.
So they're still standing on that. They don't think we have a right to it, so they're not going to provide it. Is that the official status?
That's the city's position on it. I guess we are waiting to see what the Public Information Board's position is on it.
And so when will that take place? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Yeah, we have to wait on them to finish their inquiry.
Okay. Just. All right. Thank you.
No problem. We're still working on our annual report and getting that updated and issued out. That's kind of it for the. Yeah, I think that's it for the director's report. Let me switch over to the case status. Does anyone have questions before I switch over on the emailing me about local concerns for the upcoming trainings?
No, it's been thorough in your presentation of it.
Oh, for our case status, we have 164 open employment cases, 56 housing, 19 education, and 19 public accommodation, no credit. We've had 5 housing cases closed this year, 3 employment cases, and 1 education case. Still have 161 open employment cases, 51 housing. We still need additional staff, obviously, to work on our kind of getting our numbers down for the number of cases that we have versus the resources that we have. So hopefully we'll see some movement there. We only had one referral last month, and that was to legal aid. So that's our case status report.
So, Director Lacy,
Mhm.
on your chart there with the open cases. So basically, I mean, going back to the budget request, this all ties in with this amount of open cases. Obviously, it's obvious that, you know, the additional staff is needed to try to address some of these. I mean, we've got them open to sitting on the books, and we don't have the staff to support the case workload. So, I mean, this thing with the budget being ignored really is, it kind of rings of what they think of the commission. So we really have to be aggressive with pushing that budget issue. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. That's all I have for the director's report.
No other questions for Director Lacy. Director Lacy, thank you as always for the work and the effort that you do in order to make this commission and its activities successful. We appreciate you and your staff and all the work that you guys are doing. The next is our new business authorization for implementation of legal action on the refusal to process the commission director's vacation pay correction. I'm not up to date on that. Director Lacy, can you speak to that?
Sure. So the commission voted twice, the first time I think in 2020, to have my vacation corrected, and the city refused to process it, stating that the way that the commission worded the vote and the minutes conveyed that there was an effort to correct an inaccuracy, and city staff did not feel that it was inaccurate. So to frame it as a request, as a correction, prevented them from processing the correction. So the commission, after requesting that it be corrected for, I want to say about 2 years, agreed to do a second vote as instructed by Mallory Merritt. And the second vote clearly explained that the commission sought to place me on the director's vacation scale, which I had not been on, and it should have started at the 6th year, as stated in my offer letter. And the vote was to have the number of hours in my vacation bank corrected to reflect the additional 40 hours per year, and that anything over the 280-hour limit be paid out to me. That has not been processed to date. And initially we were told that they were just trying to calculate the correct number of hours. And then there was a request for Commissioner Guster to agree to change the commission's vote to change what the correction should be. And after that was declined, he was presented with a memo that was drafted by city staff, and it was drafted as if it was coming from him to city staff. And the memo stated that they would agree to correct the balance of hours and increase the maximum accrual level to 560 hours for me. So they would give me the hours, but they would just be in my vacation bank. And then if I were to leave employment, I could have it paid out. But if I were to remain employed, I couldn't receive it. It would just be in the vacation bank. And that, to me, conveyed an effort to have me leave employment, because it doesn't make sense that that would be built into the correction. So when I declined this offer, the city, apparently either Mallory Merritt or Brian Heyer, decided that they would hire outside counsel to conduct an investigation to determine whether or not I was owed the hours at all. And this is, again, 4 years into the conversation. They have decided to hire outside counsel to evaluate that. We were told that, I think, in either late December or early January. And despite repeatedly asking, we have not received any sort of update on what their outside counsel, on whether outside counsel exists or what they said. So that hasn't been updated. As some of you all may know, I filed a complaint with the EEOC regarding the different treatment and how we are budgeted and the harassment that has been going on for several years. And in response to that complaint, I was told that since I filed a complaint, they weren't going to do anything to correct the vacation pay. And that I could await the resolution of the EEOC complaint to have my vacation pay corrected, if EEOC decides to correct it. I'm not sure how they were, those two items were connected in the mind of the city, unless the reason for the different vacation accrual is based on the discrimination. Otherwise, those should be viewed as two completely separate things, unless they're not. So despite the commission voting on this twice and repeatedly following up on it to have this processed, city staff is basically usurping the commission's authority to decide to correct this error that was created by city staff.
And the two people that are involved are still Brian and Mallory?
Yes. That's correct.
So basically, we're still in a wait mode on EEOC, or what? My question is always, what can we do? Is there any action that we can take to move things along? So are we still waiting on EEOC? Is that acceptable, or is that?
I don't think it's acceptable. I think it's retaliation. I mean, it's allegedly they were working on getting it processed, and they were offering to put it in my bank and I could have it if I resigned, but if I didn't resign, I couldn't have it. And then after receiving notice of the complaint from EEOC, suddenly it's not on the table anymore, and they're not going to do anything with it.
Is
So
that normal for if you have vacation hours in your bank you can only be paid out if you resign? Is that standard?
The city's policy says that they have a maximum of 280 hours that you can accrue. And anything over 280 hours, you either use it or you lose it. Because they were withholding mine, the accrued hours exceeds 280 hours. So I already have a bunch of vacation hours because we don't have enough staff, and so I can't use vacation as I regularly would be able to if we were fully staffed. And then because they've withheld my hours for 9 years, that the number is it exceeds the number of hours that you can even accrue. So essentially, I would just lose out on those hours because of their actions.
Right.
Yeah, it's a special situation. It's a
Mhm.
special situation is what it is, because they didn't give her the hours to begin with, but now they want her to use them or to quit to get them. And it's not right because of the way they did things.
Right.
That's
Right.
why they should be able to pay them out. You know, it's just ridiculous.
So what, I totally agree. It's unusual circumstances that cause those hours to accumulate like that. So there's no way they could have been, consumed or used, under standard operating procedures. So they need to pay those out. But, so what recourse, this is my question always, what recourse do we have, at present? I mean, we got the, EEOC complaint, and the city has taken a stance that they're not going to move until they get the results of the EEOC complaint. Is there anything in the interim that we can do in between those two positions?
So last month, what was discussed was having the commission hire legal counsel to sue the city to force them to pay this out as voted on by the commission now twice. And so that's what's on the agenda, the authorization for the implementation of legal action on the refusal to process
Okay.
the pay correction.
So have we done anything on that regarding the attorney?
No, the commission would have to vote on that. We haven't done anything with that.
Oh, okay. I thought we didn't vote on that at the last session.
No, it was,
We
it
voted
wasn't on the
on,
agenda.
yeah, it wasn't for this specific issue, but we did give, permission for,
Yes,
legal action on something. It was the other issue, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm confused. I was,
But for this issue, that's what's on the agenda here. We have to vote on it.
okay.
The commission previously voted to hire counsel to conduct an investigation into employment harassment.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so, Director Lacy, is there anything else, regarding this?
No, additional information?
Yeah.
Nope.
I guess you've heard the, presentation, by Director Lacy regarding the, vacation pay correction. Are there any discussion, any questions?
I was wondering, do we have any idea when the EEOC ruling would come down?
No, and it could take years
Okay.
for them to finish an investigation and issue a finding.
There shouldn't be no connection between the two. So my recommendation would not be to wait on the EEOC decision, but to proceed, because the city is not legal to tie these two together, because there's nothing that connects them. So that ruling would be independent of any action taken regarding her pay with the city. That's my thought on it. I'm not a lawyer. Commissioner Reyes could probably talk on that better than me, but there doesn't seem to be a connection direct. Any other questions, comments? You've heard. Go ahead, Commissioner Transfield.
Well, no, our first attorney is working on employment harassment. I don't know, this is part of it, right? But do we want it separate? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, because I think, the previous vote was just to have them hiring them to conduct the investigation. So it wasn't on hiring them to take any,
Specific action.
yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
So it appears that this is a specific action for this specific vacation pay correction. The other one was for employment across the board, general in the general category, but this is for a specific case, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The discussion's been had, and Director Lacy gave us all the facts. What is the commission's recommendation?
Wow. I guess I'm just slow to respond because I still don't have clarity. Instead of things becoming clearer with what and why, and I guess I just hesitate only because I don't have clarity. And I think that the waters are being distorted by the city's actions and non-actions and responses. So I don't know what to propose. And so I just get back with those that understand it better. And
Well, I feel like we should do this because this has been going on a long time. And if we need legal counsel for this one specific issue, and this issue is old, like she said, it's like 4 years total, I believe, at least. I've always known about this. It's been going on a long time. If we can get somebody to implement legal action right now on this, I'm for it. I am. I'm ready to take the action we need and to get this moving.
Do we have funding to cover it?
I think the city probably needs to be sued for covering the legal fees too.
Oh, okay. So that would cover the funding.
Because it doesn't make sense what they're doing, aside from very clearly engaging in harassment.
Yeah.
Especially when they have the audacity to be handing out $50,000 bonuses to.
If they lose, which they should, they have to pay the fees anyway, right? I mean, usually the person that loses has to pay the fees. So there might not be a case of paying the fees anyway, right? If we, Director Lacy, if we were to win this.
Typically, in litigation, it's the responsibility of the person bringing the suit to pay their own fees.
Oh.
I would have to look up the law on this particular type of action and see if there's a specific provision built into the law to reimburse the legal fees. But I would say that based on the way that the city is handling this, they should be sued for attorney's fees.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it just doesn't make sense. According to them, they've hired outside counsel, they've done all this, they've spent more than what the vacation pay even is already. Just
That's what
dragging it out
makes
for 4
sense
years.
right there, yeah. Let's dig a deeper hole that we don't have to dig,
Yeah.
They have no problem making checks out for everybody else. And this is more justified than the other checks they've written. The other checks, I don't agree with. But I do agree with compensating somebody after this amount of time with hours that should have been there all along.
yes,
I mean, I think this is an easy one myself compared to the 50,000s and the 1.6 million. All that stuff is ridiculous to me. And we never saw anything of evidence for those. They're still trying to get that evidence. And of course, they're telling the state auditor, they don't need him, don't want him. Well, of course they don't. They don't want what they've done uncovered. There's a mess down there, and I think that it doesn't hurt us to do this. I think it's necessary. I mean, this was going on long before this recent stuff. This is something that should have been handled long before the building even fell, and all this stuff has been going on since.
Oh, yeah.
This is old, you know?
One thing you
Time
want
to get it done and end it.
we want to make sure that everybody is clear, and I think Commissioner Boyd had indicated that she was unclear. So, Commissioner Transu, I totally 100% in agreement with you. We just want to make sure that everybody is clear, and that that when we make a decision, that it's everybody has the correct information and is sound in their judgment.
Yeah.
So Commissioner Boyd had some concerns, and I don't know if we've met them yet or not, or if anybody else has concerns also. We have a couple other commissioners here who have not spoken up yet. So it'd be nice.
Proper for us to meet with the mayor on this, just to hear his side of what's going on? Is that improper? Or City Hall to go to a meeting and to, I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking because it's been going on ever since I've been in, and it's old, and I can't, I don't understand the blatant disrespect to the commission itself on a lot of things. It's almost like the commission, it's a joke to them.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have to fight for everything.
Yeah, and I'm not understanding why.
And see, that's why I'm not understanding. I'm in agreement with what's been said. I absolutely am. And and if the motion's made, I'm fully in support of seconding it or supporting it.
I don't think having another meeting, I mean, it's been on the table, like you say, for years, and meeting with the mayor again won't accomplish any action. They've already taken their position, and they're waiting on the results of the EEOC complaint. There is no connection there. It has no relevance to the issue. So meeting with the mayor, once again, is just a delay in the inevitable, and they don't have any plans to make any decisions or to take further action. So I think the onus is on us to be aggressive, and we really need to push this because Director Lacy has served in her position all these years, and she has not been fairly and equitably compensated for it. And our hands are tied, other than being able to make a decision to have someone take an action that will engage the city and force them to either come to the table or it gets denied. So we have to move in that direction. The EEOC complaint will stand on its own, but the city needs to be pushed.
Well, we've had meetings with them, and the trouble is they don't bring any of this, to city council. It's all amongst themselves, and they don't bring this to the council. I guarantee you, I have a feeling if even this FOIA thing was brought more to the council and there could have been a vote on it, instead they just say internally without telling a council or anything that, well, we're just not going to give you the information. I mean, they just decide themselves on their thrones without going to the council what they're going to do. So they don't even have a say in it anyway. I mean, because they're doing this in City Hall without anybody else. So the trouble is, because they only talk amongst themselves and don't really let, the council or the public know, then this is where we are. So the only way to do it, to me, is a lawyer and legal stuff against them, because they're not going to move. We've been to meetings. We talked about all this. They made an offer, and their offer was she can use the vacation or she can quit. That was what they said. And it's not right after all these years. It just isn't. I don't see any other way of handling this and maybe coming to a conclusion on this, except through legal means. I just don't.
And I agree with what you're saying, but unlike you, I can't voice it, so I'm in agreement. If you could voice the motion, I'd be happy to second it.
Is there any further discussion? Or any Commissioner Peterson, Commissioner Reyes?
Commissioner Reyes had to jump off.
Commissioner Reyes left, yeah, she had to leave at, 12:33.
Commissioner Peterson, is he still on?
Sorry, I have to take this call. Hello?
If there's no further discussion, I would again say to the commission, is there a recommendation on the authorization for legal action on the director's vacation pay correction? What is your position?
Commissioner Upchurch Taylor moves that we proceed with legal action for authorization for the refusal to process commission director's vacation pay correction.
I second the motion.
Okay, there's been a motion to proceed with the authorization for implementation of legal aid on the refusal to process the commission director's vacation pay correction by Commissioner Upchurch Taylor. It was seconded by Commissioner Boyd. Is there any discussion or questions to the motion? Since there is no discussion or questions to the motion, all in favor would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed would signify by saying nay.
I would like to abstain.
Commissioner Peterson has chosen to abstain. Commissioner Peterson, I would hope that you would had a time to I think you had to take a phone call, and I'm not sure if you were privy to the discussions prior.
Well, I think I heard enough about what was happening before that to, yeah. I would like to abstain if the motion was about hiring legal services to pursue this.
Okay, okay, Commissioner Peterson has abstained, and Commissioner Transu, could you please call the roll on those who have voted in favor of this motion?
Yeah, just a minute here. Okay. Okay, Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Holly,
Yes.
okay, Commissioner Peterson has abstained. Commissioner Upchurch Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Transu, yes. And we have two out. So, we have 4 yeses and 1 abstain.
I don't think we have enough to carry the motion. So we would have to table that until we could get the vote from Commissioner Reyes and Commissioner Guster. I think we would need can we approve that motion with the majority, or do we need a quorum to do that, pass it?
I would think we would need a quorum.
Yes, I would think so also. So.
Do we want to table those for next month?
Yes, I believe we'd have to table that.
Do we want to table the closed session as well?
Yes,
Okay.
so let's table the commission, director's, closed session for the director's compensation also. Since we don't have the numbers. Okay. So it's been decided that we would move that to next month's agenda. And the closed session would be moved also. So the next, are there any questions or comments? Concerns? Next
I know
order.
it's-
Go ahead, Commissioner Transit.
I was just gonna say, I know it's nobody's fault that had to leave or is not here today. I'm just gonna say I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed today.
Well, we appreciate you and your time and effort, and it's definitely it's definitely welcomed, and it's not taken lightly. So, thank you. So now we're open for public comment and presentation. Do we have public participants? I can't see on my screen.
It looks like we have, Brian Wood attending from the public.
Okay. It doesn't appear that he has any comments. So with that being
Commissioner
said,
Holly, who is, Cody Ellis?
He's our housing,
Oh, okay. I came in late. I know I was trying to get in. For some reason, it's always difficult for me to get in to this meeting.
Cody
I
works,
wasn't sure
big
who-
part of us.
Huh?
Cody works
He's
for
a
the
very
commission.
big part of us.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. He wears two hats.
All right. Well, hi, Cody.
Okay, so it looks like our business is done. Are there any other business, any additions or subtractions, questions, comments? I appreciate everybody's participation, taking your time today. Commissioner Guster was not here. Hopefully he'll be back for our next session, and hopefully everything is well with him. So keep him lifted up. I don't know what's going on. He may have some other business to take care of, but it's always good just keep our fellow commissioners and lifted up, and always their welfare and their well-being is always an issue at hand. But thank you everybody for your time and effort today. And if there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
I
Yeah.
so move.
Okay, Commissioner Boyd.
Church Taylor seconds.
Okay.
Okay, it's been motioned by Commissioner Boyd to adjourn this session for 12 March 2024, seconded by Commissioner Upchurch Taylor. All in favor would signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, no. There are no nays, so we will consider this meeting adjourned, and Director Lacy will send out the meeting invite for the next meeting in April,
It's April 9th, yes.
April 9th. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You,
Thank you. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
You too.
you too.
Bye.
Bye now.